Hello, 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 and welcome to the Blue Oval Podcast. I am Ben Weissel, and joining me, as always, Garrett Allen. How's it going, man?
Ben, just coming off of a boys' weekend. I have a very good tight group of guys here in Virginia near the DC border, and we all went up to the Jersey Shore. We had fun, and I did something that was pretty adventurous. I didn't post on Sunday. We didn't post an article. It was we broke the streak. It was like 3 months straight of posting. And I did it because I was mentally exhausted and I just had no mental capacity left. And of course, the one time that we didn't post, and we're still saving the first thoughts article for Monday as we're recording this. We had I would say a prominent, like, national caliber name reach out to us on Instagram, being like, "There's no first thoughts article." I'm like, it's coming, I promise. And so I appreciated the sentiment and the yearning for content, which was appreciated.
Hey, that's a good sign when we don't post for the first time in forever and people notice. Like that would be a little bit more worrisome if they didn't. They're like, whatever. It's
I was not gonna lie. I was anxious. I was just like, I need to do something today. I need to post something today. Like, I was like, hey,
relax.
It's a lighter weekend. It's supposed to be, pretty easy. You can always we need something for Monday anyways, like deep breath. So yeah, shout out. It's still coming today. It's just delayed is all. But we've got
that's self-growth right there. Just to let everybody know, for Garrett, that is growth. He take a day. It's okay. We'll survive. It's a slow weekend.
To be clear, I'm still a ball of stress about it. Like it still works me out, but I'm lying to myself saying that everything's going to be okay. That's how
the fact that you fought through that stress and still didn't post anything is the growth. Now we still got to work on you not beating yourself up when you don't post for a day, but we're baby steps here.
Correct, baby steps. That and I was just hungover from the weekend, so that's neither here nor there. Ben, we also need to take baby steps in terms of ratings and reviews, as it seems that we only got another +1 on Spotify, up to 195 on Spotify. We're doing well there. 0+ on Apple. We're up to 110. Please leave ratings and reviews there on both. So we sincerely appreciate that. Go subscribe on YouTube. We're working on a few things there. But Ben, we got a little bit of an interesting show today. A lot of fast 1500s, one fast 800-meter time. It's predominantly men. Don't know why. Just men seem to be really aggressive with their racing this weekend, and preparation for the conference championship weekend. And because it was then a lighter weekend beyond just a few of those middle distance performances, you and I are going to do a postseason fantasy draft as we're drafting for the national championships. We're picking 7 men, 7 women, having 2 separate competitions, but we'll get into that towards the tail end. Today, though, we're going to talk about a few middle distance performances, and let's start there. Where do you want to start?
Let's start with the Oklahoma State group that went out to Arkansas and put down some really fast times, led by Fouad Messaoudi's 3:34 teammate Alex Stitt ran 3:36. Arkansas's Ruben Reyna 3:36 as well, and then fellow Cowboy Ryan Shoppy running 3:37. Does this really change your opinion of anybody that significantly? I mean, I think Messaoudi certainly puts himself in that conversation for that the top tier of the 1500-meter names, but we already knew he was this talent. Like 3:34 is faster than maybe a little faster than what we could have expected, but we knew he was capable of some quick times. I think for me, it maybe changes my opinion a little bit on Alex Stitt because the consistency and just the overall top end times have been way better than I expected this year. But I mean, and maybe the same could be said about Reyna, but Shoppy 3:37 seems about right. Do you think that Messaoudi has broken into that that tier of Strand, Green, Murphy, Martin, Tefra?
Here's the thing. I slightly disagree. I do think that this is fairly significant for Fouad Messaoudi, because it's not just he ran out there and ran one great 1500-meter race. This is now the 3rd time this season where he's gone under 3:37. He went 3:36, 3:36, now 3:34. clearly peaking at the right time, took down a very good field. Very, very good field. Maybe not as good as like what we saw at Duke Twilight, but Reyna's a stud. Stitt, as we've learned, I agree. He also makes a lot of good cases there for how strong he's been. The difference with Messaoudi, though, is that we've seen what he looks like at his peak.
Mhm.
We know that when he's at his peak, he's arguably untouchable. Arguably. Now, the NCAA, hang tight. I know. Ben just gave me this crazy big eye roll. But that was back in 2023. The NCAA has elevated. And I think that this at least suggests that Messaoudi is maybe not, I don't know if he's there yet, but I'm at least beginning to question how close to that 2023 form he is. I don't know if he's that far off. And if that's the case, then I am forcing myself to consider whether or not he could win gold. I'm not saying he's there yet, but I'm not saying that either.
Sure. So the 2023 season's an interesting one to look at, right? Because he dominated the DMR. He did well in that he won a 3K national championship, but we never saw him win the 1500 meter or mile championship, even when he was at the peak of his game, right? I think he finished ninth in the outdoor 1500. So that, and I agree. I think he's better than his peak in 2023. Now, is he better than his peak in 2023 relative to the rest of the field? I don't think so. Like,
Sure.
I think he's still off of that, which is why I still don't necessarily have him in that top group. And now I think that's more of a testament to how I feel about those top 5 guys, less than what I feel about Messaoudi. But I just, if we could have seen some more success in the 1500 meter mile at national championships, I think I might feel a little bit differently. But he just doesn't seem like a guy super well suited for a national championship 1500 meter race. And I think that's why he was able to win a 3K championship and why he was able to win some DMRs, because he's super talented. He can run super fast times and he has a better kick than most 3K runners. But when you're talking about, does he have a better kick than Nathan Green? Does he have a better kick than Liam Murphy? Like Ethan Strand? I don't think so. And those guys are running just as fast as he is. So ultimately, I think I have him right outside that group. I could end up being proven very, very wrong there, but because he has he's done everything you could ask for, right? There's nothing in his performances that he's done this season that would say he doesn't belong in that group. I'm still lingering on some past experiences with him that, quite frankly, might be outdated.
Yeah, I disagree in the sense that I think he's better than his 2023 form. I'm not convinced that he is there yet. I think time-wise, yeah, he is. But I think we've also learned that times aren't comparable anymore.
Yeah, I think that's what I was getting at. I think he's in better shape in terms of the times that he can run, but relative to the NCAA, he's not. Yeah.
But I also, and maybe this is just me struggling with that fact that it's harder to reconcile times now compared to previously. And I agree that relative to the NCAA, he's not as proven, but it at least makes me question. You run 3:34, you're NCAA number 10 all time, which is only NCAA number 7 this season. Insane. It makes me question. It at least makes me wonder. I'm like, wait, but what is he at? Is he going to replicate his 2023 form? Because if he is, and we don't know that, maybe he is, maybe he isn't. But if he is, I think that if you told me, hey, the 2023 version of Messaoudi is fully 100% back in the spring of 2025, I'd say, well, he's at least going to contend for the national title. And right now, we don't know if that's the case. We just don't know.
Yeah, totally fair. So do you have him in that top tier, or would you have him right outside?
Well, define top tier. Who's in your tier?
I had 5. I have 5 guys now. They're probably there's a slight break in between. Yeah, but I think the number 1 tier is Green, Tefra, Murphy, Strand, and who am I forgetting? Martin. Yeah.
I don't know if I'd put him in that group, but I think he's alone by himself in the next best group.
Okay. Yeah, I agree. I think that's where I'm at right now.
Or
He's done everything
maybe
he
with
can.
Langone, maybe Langone joins him in that second-ish
Yeah,
group.
yeah, that's a fair
But I don't
spot
think
to put
I'd
him.
put Spencer in there. I don't even think I'd put Parker Wolf in there. I
No.
don't think I'd put anyone else in that group. No.
Yep. Okay. Sounds like we're on the same page then. Anything else out of this group of guys? Reina, Shoppy, Stitt.
My highness on Stitt was a year late. Now I'm back.
Yeah,
I'm
there
back
you
after
go.
running 336. Reyna, I still fully believe in him. 336. This is the result I was looking for. And Shoppy. Hey, by the way, Oklahoma State has 3 guys this season who have run 337 or faster. They have run
Yeah.
334, 336, 337. Insanity. Good for Dave Smith at Oklahoma State.
Yeah, you're starting to see that group of guys that won them DMRs kind of fully
Yeah.
back in fitness, and Stitt, who's elevated well above wherever he was in the past. Elsewhere in the 800, we saw Aidan McCarthy run 145. Again, another a good point in his favor when we are looking at this 800 field. We've obviously seen him run this fast during the indoor season, but again, good to see him run this in the outdoor oval. And he seems to just set up his season so well. Like he
Mhm.
runs super fast times right before you go into the postseason, and he seems to be primed for another big NCAA championships.
Yeah, I don't know if this really tells us a whole lot
Yeah.
about him. He ran 145 slow. Like I think he ran faster on the indoor oval. But it puts him back in there. He's like, "Hey, I'm back. I'm still part of this conversation. I deserve to be here." He's also run 336 this season. He sticks in the 800 though, right?
Yes. Yes.
Yeah. It would be the smart move if he did stick in the 800. But I don't really know if there's a whole lot to talk. Impressive, great performance, really strong. It doesn't tell us anything that we didn't already know about him.
No, I think the best point is he seems to be trending in the right direction, right, and ready for a peak when it comes to June, which is exactly and in a field that feels, I mean, 800 feels pretty wide open,
Wide
right? I
open.
mean, I think Matsatsa still probably deserves to be the favorite, but it's a slim favorite at most, and it really seems like there's 3, 4, or 5 guys that realistically could take home this title, and McCarthy's certainly one of those.
The latest confidence index scoring has how many guys? The top 4 guys are separated by less than 4 points.
And that feels right.
Yeah.
That feels about right. And we're gonna see in the draft that we do, it's going to kind of mirror how we see these confidence score indexes, because depending on how you feel about someone relative to the rest of the field is going to be a big indication of where you choose that person in the draft. So stay tuned for that.
Real
Moving
quick,
on. Yeah, go
who do
ahead.
you think our top 4 is? Just out of curiosity, I'm just curious if you can name the 4.
In terms of in order or just four in general?
Just the top 4.
Matsatsa. Well, when did we do the?
They haven't even been released yet. It's for this week.
Okay, okay, perfect. Hassan, McCarthy. Is it Roban?
Nope.
No. Marshall?
Nope.
No, really.
Dude, you're missing someone blatantly obvious. It's like overwhelmingly blatantly obvious.
I said Matsatsa, Hassan, McCarthy. Who am I missing?
My guy, he won a national title. Who won the indoor national title?
Oh, yeah, the Erickson. That makes sense. Okay.
That was a tough look for you.
Yeah, well,
Yeah, he's like, hey, I've got 2 kids. Like, calm down. So, all right, let's move off of that. Where are we going next?
let's stick in the middle distances on the men's side, and we'll run through a few 1500-meter performances. Simeon Beerbaum, 336. Matt Strangio, 330. Or sorry, Simeon Beerbaum,
Bomb
337,
337. Yeah.
and Strangio, 336, and then Chris Cadillo, 337 as well. Nice win, I felt like, for Beerbaum in the 1500, about the time that you would expect. Strangio, I mean, continues to exceed expectations in this event, considering he's always been seen as more of a longer distance star. And Cadillo, I truthfully, this is the first time that he's kind of coming up on my radar. Where did this come from?
So he was a stud in high school. He was really, really good, top recruit. We actually did an article on him where he had, he was talking about his top schools, like it brought it down to the Final Four, Final Five. We did an article with him. He announced his commitment to Cal Poly, I think, with us. And like I was really high on him. I was like, I think
Yeah.
he's really complete. But it's taken him a little bit. He's now a sophomore. I want to say he's a redshirt. I don't know if he's a redshirt sophomore or not. But you run 337. I think this is still a pretty aggressive leap from like where we thought he could be. I thought maybe he gets there his senior year. But again, times nowadays are so different and so varying. I really like Chris Caudillo. I think he still needs refinement and development. But Cal Poly, by the way, had I think 3 guys in this race. Not yet. They had 1, 2. They had a guy run 337 in Caudillo. Carson Smith run 338, and they had McCarthy run 336 at Brian Clay. I'm telling you, man, Cal Poly's having a heck of a year right now. It's very quietly, really good team.
Yeah, I mean, this was the vision that we saw when Van Hoy took over the program, right? And Cadillo, I am remembering his commitment now because that was the exact type of athlete that it seemed like Van Hoy would attract. And it seemed like such a perfect fit. And yeah, I mean, he came into this race with a 341 PR and leaves nearly like 3.5 seconds faster, which is pretty crazy. But yeah, you are starting to see that Ole Miss type of program starting to come out of Cal Poly, which I think it's maybe a little like maybe a year later than we expected, but it's arriving, and I would expect it to continue to gain steam in the years to come.
Agreed. Great run from Simeon Beerbaum. Strangio, what does he run? 5K, 15, double?
I think he's just got to do 5K, right? I don't know.
He's won 2 great races in fairly quick times. Because he didn't win overall at Brian Clay, but he won his heat. He won his section.
Heat, yeah. I just the 1500 is so loaded.
It is loaded.
If you have another option and you aren't like one of those top 6 names in the 15, I feel like you got to go with that other option.
What? Okay, so you think he should go for the 5K? What do you think he will go for?
I mean, the fact that he's running, I think he'll run the 5K. I mean, he won his heat at Stanford. Like, this is traditionally what he's done. He's coming off of a 22nd place finish in cross country. I think this is
the tactics could help him. 5K, people are coming double back at nationals. Yeah, okay, fair. He won his. I think he just won the overall race at Stanford, by the way.
Yeah,
not even just his seat. Yeah,
right. You're right. Yeah. So yeah, he's had a sneaky, very, very good season, and it's kind of gone under the radar because there's so many other stars in the events that he's running in. But I mean, he's done about as much as you could ask for a 5K, 10K kind of guy.
Boise State's Kaya Robertson goes 4:10 for 1,500 meters. She is one of my quietly really favorite runners, underrated runners. I think she's great. Iowa State's Michaela Clark runs 2:01.99 for 800 meters. Great runs. Don't really know if they're major headline grabbers. Surprisingly, the women were just a bit quieter this weekend by comparison. But I don't know if we really have anything more to talk about on this end.
I'm always surprised, and this is how it was for Cadillo when you see 1,500 meter runners run at Brian Clay and then run something way quicker, like 3 weeks later, because Brian Clay is usually like the perfect scenario for you to run an insanely fast time, and for Robertson, she runs 4:14 and then comes back and runs 4:10 this weekend, which again, a good sign of the progress that she's headed. Would be surprised to see her in the mix this year, but someone to certainly keep an eye on moving forward. So that wraps it up, though. I don't think any other results that we need to get into, right?
No, nothing on the results side. But like we mentioned, we are going to do a fantasy draft, and we're doing it a little early. We're going to do it before the actual regional national meets start. But we figured, hey, not really a whole lot's going to change between now and conference championship weekend. Maybe this gives us a good chance to get some early value picks. So what we're going to do is we're going to do a women's draft first. We're going to pick 7 names each. and it's going to be, you know what? You actually set this up, Ben. So I'm going to give this to you. You tell me more about this.
Yeah, so we're gonna have 7 picks for the men and 7 picks for the women. 5 of our athletes will score. So your top 5 scorers will score, very similar to cross country scoring, right? And if you do not qualify for finals, or if you do qualify for finals but you don't finish in the top 8, or whatever the situation, you DNF, anything that basically does not lead to you scoring points at the national meet will be counted as 0. So one of the strategies is you're chasing upside, right? You don't need everybody to score, but you need five men, 5 women, and you're looking for upside here because hey, if they bomb, like it counts as 0, just like anyone else who doesn't score. So there's a little strategy there, and like I said, it's going to be there's going to be a lot of value on athletes who are going to be competing in more than one event. Obviously, 2 opportunities to score. But again, it's going to function very similarly to those confidence indexes because the more confident you are in an athlete, even if they are only running one event, I think we're going to see those athletes get drafted a lot higher than those that maybe we feel really good about, but their fields are very strong. So any follow-up questions, comments on any of that, Garrett?
So I think national meet scoring. Yes, that's how we're doing it.
Yes,
Okay,
absolutely.
national meet scoring top 5, and we will start on the women's side. Ben, you were the one who set this all up, so I will give that first pick to you.
No. We're gonna flip a coin for it. We're gonna
Oh,
flip a virtual coin for
a
it.
virtual coin.
Got to do this above board. So I'll defer to you. Heads or tails?
Heads. Yeah, heads. Of course, heads.
All right. The drama that no one can see. It is heads.
Let's go. Let's go. All
Would you
right.
like to go first or second? Up to you.
Are we doing snake draft? No, we can't do snake draft. It's a 2-person draft. I guess we could.
No,
I
we
don't
can
know.
do. Let's. All right.
No. We'll go back and forth. We're not doing snake draft. We'll not
Okay,
do
all right.
that.
I think we could do snake in the first 2 picks, and then we revert.
I'm not
back.
doing. I'm not going to do
Okay,
that.
all right.
No. We'll do back and forth. Doris Lemongol of Alabama. I think
All
she's
right.
going to run the 5K steeple double. Can you even do that? No. Yes.
Yes.
You can do that.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's just going to be difficult.
I'll take Doris.
So, Doris Levengoal, first overall. I didn't have her as my number 1.
And I was worried that I think I kind of know who your number 1 is.
And it ultimately came down to, hey, that is a difficult double, right? Now, I think you feel really good. Hey, she's going to get 10 points, and then she's probably going to pick up, you would imagine, at least 6 in the 5K. I'm going with Pamela Kosgei. She was actually my number 1, and that's because I do think in the 10K she's the clear favorite there. I would imagine picking up 10 points there, and then I do kind of think that doubling back from the 10K and then running the 5K the next day is a little bit easier than doing steeple 5K same day. Now, I don't think she's as good a runner as Lemongold, but I do think that does bode a little bit better for her and give her slightly better odds at beating Lemongold in the 5K. Ultimately, that's why I had her as my number 1. I don't think you can really go wrong there. I think this is probably one of the tightest 2 athletes in this this draft that we're going to go through, because really they could end up having almost the exact same amount of points.
Yeah, and that's where I was conflicted about. But like, well, what's a realistic double? But you know what? At the end of the day, I think if Lemongold runs 2 events, I think she's guaranteed to win 1 title. And I'm not confident I can say that Kosgei's guaranteed to win 1 title. And that was the caveat. And I thought, you know what? I don't think Lemongold can finish worse than 3rd in any of those events. I thought she was slightly safer from the upside pick. I'll take Lemongold. My second pick, 3rd overall, is not a long distance runner.
Okay.
Well, she sort of is. It's Margot Appleton.
Wow.
Virginia. Because if you think about it, Oregon's Wilma Nielsen has not run yet. I don't trust Alana Yildiz. I'm not confident that Foresters can win a national title. And when I kind of look at the rest of this leaderboard, I'm not like, who are we picking? Who's there? I don't know who's there. And right now, I think Margot Appleton, it's not just that she's the 1500 meter. I think she'll double back to the 5K, and I think she can be an All American there.
Sure.
And when you look at it from that perspective, I go, I don't know what I think the upside of Appleton is far too great to pass on her. I will take Appleton.
Yeah, yeah. I had her much lower down on my board, but I think that was because I thought I could get her later. Like I thought I would be higher on Appleton than you would, because I've always believed she has the capabilities of winning a national title, and she's done everything that you could ask for so far this season. And like you said, in a field that doesn't look as strong as maybe it did coming out of indoor season, I don't hate the pick. I think it's a little early for a not a clear favorite, but I like your point that, hey, she could also pick up some points in a second event as well.
Yep.
All
So,
right.
is it your turn? Yeah.
Yes. All right. This is a tough one. I'm going to stick in the long distances.
Okay.
I'm going to go Lexi Holiday
Yeah,
Lowry
Lowry.
here. I don't love picking someone that I don't think is necessarily a favorite to win in any event, but I think her floor is very high. She's going to score points in at least one event, 6 to 8 points, you would imagine. And where I don't see a huge clear favorite in a lot of these other events, I feel comfortable picking the automatic points there.
Yeah, and that's and that's the thing. It's like I just don't know if her upside is as strong as a few other women, such as
No.
LSU's Michaela Rose. And I think that's who I'm going to take, which it scares me because the downside can be a little, but I think Rose is somewhat clearly a clear-cut favorite. She's won 158. I think even if she doesn't win, I think second's still a very realistic possibility. I don't love the women's 800 right now. I like a lot of women, but I don't love a lot of women. But it's one of those things where I'm going, you know what? If I want to beat Ben, I need to take the upside, and I will take Michaela Rose.
I had her as my fifth on my board, so I completely agree with you. The athlete that I had fourth, though, and I think this is an interesting way we see or seeing the 800, and I have Michaela Page because I do think she has that same upside, but I do think she's almost the safer bet to score at least 6 points than Rose. I really think she's just going to put herself in position. And I'm going to go with a little bit of a safer option here with my third round pick. I've been kind of playing it safe these first couple picks. I think I'll be a little bit more aggressive later on, but I just like her ability to kick. I think she's proven that she's fit enough to stick around with almost anybody. And like you said, in an 800 field that isn't super dominant, I think I like her the most, at least from a point scoring perspective. Now, as the overall favorite, that's a little bit of a different discussion. But as far as someone I know, I think is going to score me 6 to 8 points at least, I like Paige the most in this 800 field.
Okay. I was thinking about doubling up because I thought you were going to say this next person next, who I will ultimately take. And this next person is Grace Hartman, NC State.
Oh, okay. All right. Yep.
So
yeah,
I don't think she's winning a national title. I
No.
don't foresee her finishing top 2. I do think she can be a double All-American. In fact, I think she might even be a more favored double All-American. I just don't see the same upside, but I do need a safe pick. I need someone who I know, like I'm guaranteed to get at least one All-American honor, middle All-American honor. She gives me that. I will take Grace Hartman.
Yep, I had her right in this range as well, just because I mean it's again seems like someone who's a lock for 6 to 8 points, right, between two events. Like I think, and we've talked about her several times, so we don't need to keep going into it. But she's just run so exceptionally well and seems in such control that she's going to score points.
Yep,
I'm going to go to the 1500, and we've only picked one name there, and I'm really glad that she's still there. I was thinking about her instead of Paige, but I'm going to go with Chloe Forrester. I think she's run so well. She doesn't have she's had the experience now, but she hasn't had the experience of finishing high up in a 1500 meter national championship. But it does seem like she's at a different level right now, and I think it's pretty neck and neck between her and Appleton at this point. in terms of who you would consider the favorite going into the national meet. And so I'm happy to get her right here.
I just don't like anyone in this 15. Like I don't
Yeah.
there's a handful of women where I'm like, oh, I could see her
Yeah.
winning the national title, but I just don't like. Do I really feel confident in that? And the long distances are just so saturated. Where I go, like, man, is this really the right move here?
And the Forrester one is an upside play, right? Because she could be someone that scores 10 points, but she could also be someone who doesn't score any. Like I mean, I would expect her to get something, but in like you said, this 1500 field, it could be very variable.
So can you read off who I have so far?
You have Lemongol, Appleton, Rose, and Hartman.
Okay. I will take Riley Chamberlain. Yeah, she's run 2 flat converted. She's run 4:11, which isn't great, but she's run 4:26 in the open mile. She was DMR national champion, and she ran 15:23 in the 5K. There's potential. I don't think she will. I think she'll go flat 15. But there's potential she doubles. I don't love the women's 15. I will take Riley Chamberlain.
That's where I was going next. If she was still there, I think loading up on a couple 1500-meter runners who have the potential of winning is a good idea here, and she's certainly one that could take home the title. In this 10th spot, I'm going to the 800 again, and I'm going with an Olympian because she's still here, and I just feel like at this point it's worth the shot, and that's Juliet Whitaker.
What, not Sanu Jallow?
No.
Who's also an Olympian?
That's true.
Juliet Whitaker. Yeah. I thought, I was like, you know what? Maybe I pick her up late in the round. I just can't trust at this point. It's not that she can't win. She could win the national title, 100%. Yeah. But I'm also going to stick in the 800. I'm going Victoria Bossong. I think she's actually one of the safer picks here.
Yeah.
At this point of the draft, I think she's safe.
Yeah, and I think that's fair. You've kind of shot for a little bit more upside early on. I think a safer play here makes a lot of sense. Yep. I'm going to go, so after 2 more aggressive plays, I am going to go a little bit safer here, and I'm going to go with Diana Cherotich.
Interesting move.
I like the upside, or not the upside, but I like the floor of, hey, she's in 2 different, likely going to be in 2 different events. And I think, again, seems likely that she'll score 4 to 8 points between those 2.
I'm going to stay in the same area as you. I'm going Chloe Scrimger of Georgetown. Okay. I don't think she hasn't run a 10K yet, but I do think she will. I don't think I think it would be crazy for her not to run the 10K. She did the 10K last year for the first time at Big East. That was the first time I think she's ever run the 10K, maybe. I think it was the first time she ever ran the 10K, and then she went on to be an All-American in the 10K. I think between the 5K, 10K, she's going to be an All-American. I think she's a high upside, safe pick. I like Scrimger.
All right, so I got the last pick here. I'm between a couple names here. I just went the 5K, 10K route, so I don't think I'm going to go with Hilda Olamamwe, but she's someone that I was considering. The 2 that I think I'm down to we haven't really touched the steeple outside of like the top 3 names, right? They're someone's going, like, especially depending on how many women out of that top 3 actually run it. Like, what if Lemongol's the only one who runs it? Someone's going to have to finish second. And I think that's ultimately where I'm going. I was also considering Maggie Congdon, again, another 1500 meter upside play. I'm going to go with Angelina Napoleon. I just think someone has, like, there doesn't seem to be a lot of women outside of Kosgei, Lemongol, Holiday Lowry that are really anywhere near her tier at the moment. And I think this is a good swing at someone who could, depending on scratches, score you 8 points, depending on what the field actually looks like at the national meet.
I don't trust anyone beyond the top.
Oh, I don't either.
I don't trust anyone in this steeplechase field. But like you said, someone has to score. And like, especially if there's enough scratches, which there could be, Yeah, you could realistically see Dorse being the only one of the top three entering this race. You're right. The problem is that not only do I not trust these women, but it's the steeplechase. Anything can happen in the steeplechase. I should pick the steeple. That is the smart play from an open points perspective, but I'm not doing that. I am
You're
instead.
on a picks. You're on a picks. You're done.
No, I came after you.
No, you started. You already got your 7. But
Oh my God, you're right. Yes.
who would have been your 8th
Oh
pick?
my gosh, that's my loud. So who's wait? So what's my team? Oh my gosh, I'm losing track of my own team.
You got Lemon Appleton,
Yep.
Rose, Hartman, Chamberlain, Bossung, and Scrimger.
Oh, I picked Boston. That's right. I don't know why I thought I went after you. You're right. That is my team. Darn. I would have probably picked Kazmierska or Yildiz.
Yeah, yeah. I think for me it was Steeplechase or 1500, and I hear you though. All right, so the two squads we just laid out Garrett's. Mine is Kosky, Halliday, Lowry, Page, Chloe Forrester, Whitaker, Churitich, and Napoleon. I think these are fairly well balanced. I think,
Pretty strong. I like they're pretty balanced. Yeah.
and I think I like that we have a good mix of events between the two of us. I think we'll have head-to-head matchups in each of these, which will be interesting. All right,
I'm scared.
women's. That all done there. Let's move on and go to the men's. I will take the first pick here, as you got it for the women. I am gonna go with. Let's see. I think it's a pretty easy answer here, and that's Hafton Samuel.
Yeah. Yep. Oh man, I hate that. Because he was such a clear-cut first pick.
Yes. This is an interesting one. This is where is like you could go in a lot of different directions at 2.
I think I need to guarantee myself like a top 3 pick. And even if I'm sacrificing doubling points, I think I need to be there. And I don't know if this is because he's still young and he's still new, but I will take him. I'm gonna go Jeffrey Kirwa of Louisville.
Wow! All righty. Oh man, we've only really had 2 instances where you've picked not way off, like a big difference in my board versus your picks, and that was Appleton at 3 and Kirwa. I had him at 7, so it's not like I had him that far.
He's going to be. I think he's got to be in the top 2 of the steeple. Like at that point,
yeah.
Like yes, he's not doubling. He's not doubling, but like I need to know that I'm getting at least 8 points from my top pick, at least.
Yeah. Yep. My number 2 on the board was same situation as Samuel. I'm going doubling up with the New Mexico guys. I'm going Kip Karui.
Yeah. And that was the other guy who I'm thinking of. But just, I don't know why he's the NCAA record holder. I just don't trust him yet.
Yeah, the thing I trust a little bit more is he's gonna have a teammate with him. Like I think that helps a little bit. He's gonna know how the races are run. He can just shadow Samuel the entire time. Like I agree, it's not ideal, but when you're talking about, I don't feel great about any of the favorites in the other events. You consider a guy who very realistically could finish top 3 in 2 races. I'll go with him.
Give me Ethan Strand. I think he runs the 15, and I think he could, if he really wanted to, double back to the 5K.
Yep. No, totally defensible pick. I'm gonna go James Corrigan. Same situation as Kirwa. I like Corrigan a little bit more, but I think someone who's almost certainly going to finish top 2 in their event feels like
it's a great pick to counter mine, to counter the Kirwa pick. I'm going Parker Wolf. I think he runs the 10K at ACCs. Okay. I think he gets a qualifier. I think he does the 10K, 5K double. He's more fit than I think we thought he was originally with his 334, 1500. I think he's just a good, like, I think he could realistically win the 5K. And if that
Yeah.
happens, then I counter your Hatem pick a little bit.
Yeah. No, that's a good upside swing because that 5K is looking a little
Suspicious.
open. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. It's certainly room for someone to sweep in there. Oh man. Oh geez, this is rough. I'm gonna go Matsatsa.
Yeah.
I
Yep.
think
Yep.
I have
Yep.
to stay true to my board. I don't love that because I don't feel super strongly about him in the 800, but I do think he's the safest bet in the 800 to finish top in the top three.
Yep. 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 Give me. Wait, what? Oh yeah, I was gonna say. Dennis Kipnigetich of Oklahoma State.
Alrighty.
I think he does 10K, 5K double. I think he's guaranteed to be a top 5 All American in the 10K.
Yep.
Safe pick. I need the points. I need to know what I'm getting. And I don't know how many guys are safe picks at this point in the draft.
I'm going Nathan Green. I
Yeah.
feel like he is a safe pick. Yeah, it is a crowded 1500-meter field, but I do want to have a 1500-meter runner. I think I need to have someone that has proven that he can finish high up in these races and is pretty consistent when you're talking about finishes in the 1500 and the mile at national championships.
Yeah, yeah, and I see that. Gosh. Oh no, I just don't like any of these. I just don't.
It gets thin real quick.
Give me. Give me Aidan McCarthy.
Okay. Yep.
Give me Aidan McCarthy. I don't know if he's going to win a national title, but I do think he's going to be top 4 or 5 in a certain event.
I think I'm going to go back to the 1500-meter well. I think we go Abel Tefra.
Abel Tefra. Okay. Yeah.
I don't. Again, it's the same logic. You gotta. I think someone who's almost certain to finish top 4, top 5, coming off of a national championship. So obviously he could win it. I don't think he will, but I don't love the variability of the 1500-meter. You got to go through rounds, obviously, but he seems like one of the safer bets in this field. Now the upside might not be quite as high as some of these other picks, but I feel good between him and Green that I'm getting a likely top 2 finisher in the 1500 meters.
See, this is usually where I'd go for like Liam Murphy or where I'd usually go for like Marco Langone, but I don't know. Like, have any of these guys even run quick 5K times? And will they even try? Will they even try to get a quick 5K time? Because they had neither have run the 5K this season, and that Big East, it's like, hey, at this point, are they just going all in for the 15? And if that's the case, then like the 15 becomes significantly less valuable.
Yes.
I think that means I need to stay out of the 15. I think that means I have to go either 8 or steeple. And I think with the 8, I will go up Abdul Hassan.
Yeah, that was where I was going next. Yeah. I think that's a great pick. Good upside. You have McCarthy already. I think, that's a very, very solid pick. And I we talked about it before, but we haven't talked about him for a while. I think the outdoor oval does benefit him.
Yeah, I agree.
More than the indoor championship. So I do like that pick right there. Oh man. All right, so this is my last pick. We're down to our last picks here. I agree with you. It's 800 or steeple in my mind. Well, there's one 5K, 10K guy left that I am looking strongly at. How many 5K, 10K guys? I only have. So I had them as my top 2 picks, and I didn't pick anybody else after this. All right, let's go with that. I'm going to go Evans Karui. I
really?
Yeah. Complete upside play. I just think in terms of talent, I don't think there's many guys that when he's on are as good as him. I think, and he's going to be I know he's going to be in 2 events.
Okay.
I think he could end up being that guy that like, hey, someone takes out the 10K super fast, like if the New Mexico guys do, and he just sticks around and just ends up finishing fourth out of nowhere. And then 5K, I don't have as much optimism there, but I could still see him finishing like seventh.
Okay. I don't think you're wrong. There's two guys I'm down to. I think there's just far too much opportunity in the steeplechase. I'm scared because the steeplechase can change
Yeah,
rapidly in the postseason, rapidly. But I do think there's enough variance between guys where I think this guy is still pretty safe. And I think if I really want to win this draft, I need a home run hitter
sure.
with the upside. I need Matthew Kosky of New Mexico.
Yep. That was the other guy I was going between. So I thought like him, Collins, Kiprop, Kipnagok, like those guys. I mean, it seems like they're pretty clearly in that next tier alone in terms of the steeplechase. And yeah, so there's plenty of points right there for the taking, and he certainly seems primed to be able to get them. So to recap,
real quick, who would have been your next pick?
I think I would have gone Kipnagok, actually.
Interesting. Okay, I would have probably gone Rocky Hansen.
What was there another 5K, 10K guy that you were looking at?
Schubert.
Yeah. Okay. I was thinking Bosley if I would have gone another round or two.
No,
but
maybe Strangio because of the potential double.
Yeah.
But no, I think I would have just taken Rocky, who could also technically go for the double, but he won't.
I don't think he will. Yeah. No. Yeah. All right. So to recap, I have Haftam Samuel, Ishmael Kipkuri, James Corrigan, Tanoda Matsatsa, Nathan Green, Abel Tefra, and Evans Krui. Garrett has, let's see, where's my list? Jeffrey Kirwa, Ethan Strand, Parker Wolf, Dennis Kepnigetich, Aidan McCarthy, Abdullah Hassan, and Matthew Kosky. How do you feel about your squad on the men's side?
Not as good as the women's side. Which, like, if you had told me beforehand, like, here are your two teams, what do you feel more confident about? Beforehand, I would have been like the men. Now I feel more confident about the women. I don't know why.
Yeah, the men, I think it becomes very apparent that there just isn't any big favorites, right? I think on the women's side, you can see the tiers, right? You're like, all right, this is like for a couple of races, this is clearly the person who's probably one or two people that are clearly gonna win, and then there's like everybody else. With the men, I mean, it's just, the steeplechase, you have at least two contenders. Like 10K, it seems like you have a clear favorite, but in the 5K, it seems very open. 815 wide open. I mean, it is just, we could be way off with this. Like, we could not have picked a national champion, which is crazy considering we picked seven on each side.
Yeah. So you mean for the men?
I think, yeah, probably not.
No, we picked one of the women for sure. But like, yeah, like we didn't pick Erickson on the men's side. He could defend his national title. We didn't pick Murphy. We didn't pick Langone. We didn't pick Martin.
Yeah.
They could win the 1500. I think we picked a title winner on the men's 5K. Maybe Soka, but I doubt it.
Yeah.
I think we picked the 10K, and I think we picked the steep.
Yeah. Yeah. This will be interesting to track. One more thing to keep an eye on during the national championships. We'll have to see if we can get a graphic up or something. But yeah, I'll make sure we're recounting this after the national championship.
Well, Ben, nice job. Thank you for putting that together. We will. I will cross my fingers, and you'll be my mortal enemy for the next month or so. But I think that's all I got. Yeah.
Alrighty. Well, until next week, Garrett. I'll talk to you.
I'll talk to you.